asking.
Okay.
So, you know, really, we shouldn't have to go through TOEFL, but then it's also another way that money would be made from foreign students.
Some things that make you feel close to your heritage. If you get that backlash from your own community, this case Nigerian, Wanjiko Joshua says, yes, we were busy doing doubles to bring you guys up.
Okay.
What? We've talked about this.
I know.
No, it's true. Like I don't. It's
true.
not that I
We
resent them
understand.
for it. It's just always regret.
And it's like I understand. Like trust me, I've gotten a full understanding of what was going on in the early 2000s. I get it, but it's like even then, I just wish like Swahili especially, because that's like the most spoken language in Kenya, and that's like I don't know
in Africa.
In Africa, yeah.
In
Yes.
Africa?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
There's like
Guys.
4 or
Yep.
5 countries that speak.
Yep. About total population is over 200 million.
Yeah. Okay, that made
Yeah.
it worse. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, like.
Or-
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the thing that makes it worse is when you see first generation Africans here speaking
Speak it fluently.
speaking
Yep.
it fluently.
That's why
because
it's like, why
that's
is that
when
not
you
me?
regret. It's like, why could I not be
Yeah.
that person?
Wow.
Again, parents. When I say parents, I'm not just saying mom and dad. You've got
Oh, yeah.
uncle.
The
I'm
whole
here.
village.
The
whole
whole
village. The whole
village.
village.
Yeah.
The whole village.
The whole
Yeah.
village, because
Yeah.
I'm part of that. I'm part of. I need to be part. I am part of the solution,
Yeah.
but I'm also part of the problem. You know, I will say.
long
I
as you
will
know.
say that.
That was a bar.
I will say that. You know.
Confession time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say that. You know, we really did shortchange. You know, Rehema. I'm gonna speak for Rehema and Kihanya. But I hope and I think this time we are doing better with Zoe,
Okay.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But we did shortchange them because sometimes, you know, confession time, you know, we would speak Kikuyu, but we speak Kikuyu so that we don't have them
And
understand.
actually, you know what?
You know?
I'm gonna bring a point about that because
You know?
you guys.
Oh, Lord.
The-
I told you about confessing and bringing these
I
things out.
Hey.
Okay,
Hey.
go for it. I mean, Gida, close your ears.
Gida can listen actually. It's like
By the way, you know, your mother used to hate the fact that you would call her Geda and you called your father dad. But anyway,
Wow.
sorry, carry on.
Confessions of Uncle.
Yeah. Confessions of Uncle One Mike.
Mom.
Yeah.
Geda would be so mad.
Hello,
but-
Mom. I love you. Okay, so yeah, I would think like the whole like speaking Kikuyu so you guys don't listen it never worked, and it also never really made sense to me because that was the one language we actually understood. Like, if you guys really wanted us not to know what was being said, speak Swahili, because I don't know Swahili. No, none of us. I feel like not many first-gen Kenyans really know Swahili because our parents were speaking Kikuyu mainly, unless they were not Kikuyu. You know what I mean?
But let me ask you,
Yeah.
of your parents, who speaks Swahili? Let us start there.
Okay. You didn't need to air them out like that.
No,
You did
no.
not need to air them out.
No, but,
No,
but,
no.
but they both understand Swahili.
No, they understand
They
Swahili.
don't speak it.
And they can
That's what
speak
she's
it.
saying.
They can
Yeah.
speak it. They
Yeah.
can speak it.
Ah.
They can speak it. Maybe not to the highest proficiency.
Put it this way. You know how Rehema was talking about she can understand Kikuyu,
Yeah.
but cannot speak it?
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Don't drop your phone.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
sorry.
drop the phone.
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But
I
this
hope I
is-
don't get disinvited from
You actually,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, you're not getting that invite.
Yeah. No. But this conversation on language is very interesting, and I think the biggest pickup here is that all these kids who are being born in America, they want to learn the languages, you know, because the assumption has been that these kids don't want to know the languages.
Yes.
Mika.
Yes, go ahead, Mika.
Mika, talk to us.
So I wanted to tell the Gen Z or something. Don't feel bad. These guys started speaking Swahili because they wanted to gossip, and they knew if they spoke in English,
You guys are gonna
other
understand.
people, not even you guys, other people around you, like other people, Americans around you, will hear the English. And the thing is, to be honest, they didn't even. They were looking down on speaking on Swahili. They thought speaking English makes them intelligent, makes them look better, makes them feel good. So the reason why they didn't speak to you in that language is they looked down to it. And they just started regretting it later in age when you guys grew up. So don't feel that bad about it. Most of them did grow up looking down on it. and it was just how we were raised back home. We were raised that speaking English, and being fluent in it made you look more intelligent, more clever, more better than somebody who's just speaking pure English. And you actually, people laughed at people who couldn't speak or pronounce English words correctly.
Okay.
So don't really feel that bad about these Africans who didn't teach you your own language.
But one thing, you know, like that I would like also for you guys to understand, you know, like having been born in the US, there was some politics and some social issues with languages back home that maybe you guys don't necessarily understand. I don't know about Nigeria, but we were both British colonies. I mean, of course, Kenya was a settler colony. Nigeria wasn't a settler colony. So in Kenya, the white people were right there in the middle. So there was this thing of, you know, like the people who first got educated was the first generation of people who spoke English. So speaking English was associated with being educated, with being sophisticated. So there was this generation of people who saw the people who spoke English getting opportunities. So now they came and overcompensated and decided, you know, like I think we want for our kids to just learn English. So there's certain schools in Kenya. For me personally, I was learning this when I came to the US. There's certain schools that they would actually punish you for speaking your local language. And this is something I think Mike went to such a school where you would get something. You would get what was it called? They'd give you something if you speak Swa or if you speak Kikuyu in school.
It was called a disc.
A disc. Yeah. Yes, they would give you a disc as a form of punishment for speaking that language. So there was already, you know, like a fear factor, you know, about speaking your language within your own country. And I guess that has that has gone away. We have a generation that's very proud of speaking, you know, like our local languages and speaking Kiswahili, speaking Sheng or whatever we speak. So that's one nuance that I think that's important to understand. Back to the comments, Washeke says
those comments are coming in hot and heavy.
Good point, Rehema. I have seen some schools force students to take ESL on the basis of kids speaking another language at home. And if you don't know how to navigate the school system or your rights, you just give in to English. So I've always advised people about this. Whenever you're filling any form, if they ask you the kid's first language in school, just say English. Doesn't matter what language they spoke, because if the kid, especially if it's a kid coming from Kenya who already has a good command of English, don't say that you speak a different language at home, because the moment you do that in any school form, they're going to put them in an ESL class. And that ESL class for the average Kenyan, and I believe also for the average Nigerian who's coming here, who's gone through a Nigerian schooling system, maybe up to a certain point in primary school, they do have a certain command of English that they'll get comfortable just sitting in a normal English class.
I've actually seen that. It happened back in my middle school. We had a friend coming. He put Yoruba as his first language, but he spoke English fluently. But it took him a long time to switch from that ESL class, because they're like, he on his papers it's not his first language, it's his second language. So it took him, and the only difference that was for him was the cultural, like learning the cultural difference, and that's how he couldn't leave the ESL class. It took him like a whole semester to leave it. And I just think sometimes it's just better to write English, even if it's not the first language that they learned.
I mean, like for us, even before we came here, we had to take English. We had to take TOEFL. Test of English as a foreign language. And I'm like, we were colonized by the British. We have been speaking English since standard 1 to form 4. We've completed.
That's an American discrimination thing. Somebody on our side in Kenya really needs to go back to them and say, no, our guys who come out of our schools are proficient enough in English to understand and, you know, put sentences together better than these people who are asking for things and not asking. So, you know, we shouldn't have to go through TOEFL, but then it's also another way that money would be made from foreign students. Because, you know, we even pay more.
Yeah, you have to pay.
Yeah. We even pay more. So you go figure, why are we paying more and we're all in the same country?
Okay, all right. You know, comments coming in thick and fast. Annette Karanja, or rather Slay says, no, let me first read. Lawrence Kihanya says, Rehema coined it. We were busy. And then Slay says, we started speaking Kiswahili and my daughter can speak a few sentences. Let me just keep telling people, a child is the easiest person to teach a language. If you just focus your mind and do that, your child will speak your language without taking them to any language school. And then Annette says the Koreans here in the US have Korean school for young kids 3+, and it's an intensive 3 hours long. So that's something, like very interesting. I have seen some attempts of places that teach Kiswahili, but I think sometimes there's not enough students to be able to have a consistent a sustained way of teaching the language. And one other big way that kids can learn a language is through their peers. If their peers who are speaking the language, guess what? Other kids are also gonna want to learn the language. So that's a very important, especially your firstborn. If you teach your firstborn, like the language, guess what? The younger brother, the younger sister, they are gonna follow what their older sibling is doing.